Reading 4 from the Psychological Commentaries on the Teachings of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky by Dr. Maurice Nicoll, Volume 2, Berlip, January 29th, 1944. The Enneagram 2. The points connected by drawing the internal lines between the numbers obtained by dividing 7 into 1, namely the numbers 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, give a symmetrical figure of great beauty. But 3 positions are not included in this figure. Let us join these 3 points. A triangle appears, superadded to the previous figure, and in a symmetrical relation to it, at the angles where the numbers 3, 6, and 9 should appear. Let us add these numbers. Notice that this second figure, the triangle, now connecting the points 3, 6, and 9, is not obtained from the relation of 7 to 1, which gives the first figure only and leaves 3, 6, and 9 out. Here is something strange. 2 distinct systems or figures are obtained that seem to be independent of one another and yet appear to stand in some symmetrical relation to the diagram as a whole. Let us examine the point of the triangle where the number 3 is. It comes between the points indicated by the numbers 2 and 4, which belong to the 7 figure. Note, I will call the symmetrical figure lying between the points 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, the 7 figure, and will call the triangle obtained by connecting the points not touched by the 7 figure, the 3 figure. These two points, 2 and 4, are also indicated by the notes of the octave, mi and fa. The law of 7 is sometimes called the law of the shock. If things went in a regular fashion and developed harmoniously without interruption, we should live in another world. One origin of evil, or of things growing all wrong, of things going all wrong, is due to the law of the shock, or rather to its non-fulfillment. We should all reflect on the teaching of this system about shocks. It is quite unknown both to science and to older esoteric systems, so far as one can know anything about the latter. Notice here that to reflect is not to dream, and that many mistake dreaming for reflecting. In any series of developments, in every progression, a shock is necessary at a certain point. This point is represented by the places of the semitone intervals in the major scale, between do and si, and fa and mi. We occupy ourselves at present only with the place of the missing semitone, indicated by fa mi, or mi fa. If a shock is not given, the direction of development or progress of whatever it is will completely change. You start off to do something and end up by doing the opposite. There is no right passage from the state mi to fa without a shock. What follows on mi will not be fa otherwise. Let us draw an upright octave, leaving out the do at either end. Let us compare this with the Enneagram. You will see that the place of shock in the upright octave, marked by a square, corresponds to that angle of the 3 figure that comes between the numbers 2 and 4, or the notes mi and fa, marked on the circumference of the Enneagram. The angle therefore represents in some way a shock entering the system at this point. Since we have an upright octave drawn here, I would like you to notice what happens when the 7 figure is applied to it. Looking at this curious diagram, you may perhaps get the effect of some living thing, some action of circulation going on. But you will notice that when put straight, the symmetry of the figure is largely lost. In the Enneagram, the octave is put round a circle. The circle is the basis of the diagram. You must all understand that I am giving you an approach to the Enneagram from different sides. It is useless simply to take it as a diagram. It is a living thing, and all life depends on it. All organized living things have the law of 3 and law of 7 in them. In the case of animals, there is only a part of the Enneagram and only one shock. But of this we will speak later when we come to discuss the 2 other shocks indicated, which can be reached by man alone on this planet. Now, I will give you another thought that can suggest a great deal if you reflect on it. Let us take anything in time that goes by series and arrange it round the circumference. For example, the days of the week go in succession, in series, in time. Let us put Monday opposite the figure 1 at the place called Ray, and Tuesday beside figure 2, or place called Me, and Wednesday beside figure 4, and so on. This gives us Sunday at the point indicated by number 9. Now look at the intercourse indicated by the 7 figure between these days. Something passes from Monday to Wednesday and passes back to Tuesday. Let us try to get rid of the idea of time by means of conceiving the world in higher dimensions. Conceiving that time does not exist and that everything in succession in time is alive and is, so to speak, always there, although we seem to pass from one thing to another. Notice where the shock comes in the series of days marked on the circumference, and notice also the internal circulation that goes on between the days. My object is to try to make you think about the Enneagram and bring it to some kind of life in your mind and directed imagination. Apparently, in some way, Monday is connected with Wednesday, with what we call the future, but with what in the 4th dimension is already there. Then again, Wednesday is connected with Tuesday, and Tuesday is connected with Saturday, which seems very extraordinary. This seems to be a very unusual way of thinking, quite unconnected with our temporal way of thinking of cause and effect, according to which we believe that the present is influenced only by the past. As you will agree, we believe that the cause of a thing is anterior in time to the effect. We have no idea that the future may influence the present. If I were to think that certain things that were to happen on Saturday were in some way connected with what happened on Tuesday, and that as a result, what happens to me on Thursday is due to Saturday, which I have not yet reached in time in the series of days, I would certainly be surprised. I would naturally, according to my senses, think that one day follows another, just like that, and that the influences of yesterday act only on today or tomorrow. Yet by deeper reflection, I might realize this is not the case and cease to be so surprised. I might even be willing to think that something I do today may affect me years hence. Next time, we will continue some of these thoughts and reflections about this diagram, which is peculiar to this work.